Hi, everybody. My name is Melinda Gallen, and I'm all excited today to talk to you about a wonderful organization that's about 5 years old, and it's here in Sandwich, and it has to do with wonderful things like performing arts and theater arts and literary arts and all kinds of painting arts. Everything you want to know about the arts, this organization has it for you. So come along, let's have another Cape Conversations. Hi everybody. Oh my gosh, have I got an exciting show. I'm so excited. I am here with people from the Sandwich Arts Alliance. Haven't heard of them? Of course you have. I am here with the lovely Joanne Westerhouse. Thank you for coming. You can check my hand. She's standing there sitting here staring at me. And Kathy Odie, I can't reach you, but hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you guys are here. I really, really am.
Well, we appreciate you inviting us.
Well, here's the thing. Sandwich Arts Alliance is how old?
We started in 2015. This is our fourth full year of programming.
But there was lots of talk before 2015.
There was a whole year of forming the group.
Right.
And forming little groups and then getting them all together into one big group. But we kind of...
My God, it's like wrangling cats.
Yeah, it was. But we marked like our launch as Sandwich Fest 2015.
I see.
We had started taking memberships before that.
So this year it'll be 4 years and Sandwich Fest 2019.
Yes.
And then they are having it again, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good. Yes. Okay, good. So what do you do with I know you're one of the originators, but what do you do with the Arts Alliance?
This year I'm doing something totally different because Kathy came in as president.
Oh, we have a president in our midst.
Be very impressed.
Yeah. I am so impressed I can hardly stand it.
And we have Karen Santos as acting executive director on a part-time basis.
I see.
With all the programming.
Yeah.
And so
she coordinates?
Yes.
I see.
Yes. And so we started something new with putting in a development wing lobe of the organization to do annual appeals to raise money.
Sure.
So that we could grow. We felt with the programs and everything we were kind of solid after 3 solid years of programming.
Right.
But to grow as an organization and become something more in the future, the next step was to put in a development program.
And that's you?
Well, no. Well, we hired a consultant for a year's worth
of
building our team. So we have about 12 people that are doing all kinds of things. It's membership, it's nurturing existing members, it's sponsorship. We've never gone after corporate sponsorship before. We didn't know how to do an annual appeal, and we just did our first one. Major gifts, all the things we didn't have, and I didn't know how to do them.
Right.
So we hired somebody to consult for Resnick Associates from
Oh my gosh,
Osterville.
Rose Resnick, I know.
You know
Rose.
her.
Of course, I've known her for years.
Katuitt.
Yeah.
She works with the Y.
Well, I'm on the board at Katuitt, so we're getting ready for a big campaign. We're in the middle of a big campaign, actually.
So she's been amazing in
great.
helping us.
Sure.
Become
Leading
something.
you.
Yes, yes. So now she's about ready to wrap up 2 more meetings, and we're on our own.
Good.
But so the team's been working together a whole year now.
Excellent. That's terrific. That's terrific. So, Kathy, you're a newly elected president, or have you been in a while?
I started July 1st.
Oh, okay. So now, how long are you president? Like in perpetuity?
Well, that kind of remains to be seen. I believe it's a 1-year term, and then we'll just sort of see where it goes from there.
I see. Excellent.
And we have a wonderful board of directors.
Yeah.
Everyone involved does something. Not all boards function that way. Some people just like to come to meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that this board is made up of really enthusiastic people who come prepared to do things and prepared to have a little fun too.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I saw pictures on Facebook.
Oh yes.
Of your strategic planning. So, did
okay. I didn't know what you never know.
Well, that's true. But you did strategic planning recently, right?
Todd Herman, who's our vice president for strategic planning, that's his background.
Yeah.
And he's done just a lot of work with us actually over a couple of years on making strategic plans. And so most recently we had a 2-part retreat, 2 chunks of a Saturday, a few weeks apart, and we did a lot of good work. It was really helpful.
Oh,
We
good.
went to the Sand Hill School, so we were off-site
Yeah.
in a place we hadn't normally been, took food, locked ourselves up, and did good.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So you got some specific plans coming out of that for the future, for the next 5 years or 3 years or?
We usually do a year at a time
Uh-huh.
in the strategic planning, but we'll be setting up a planning committee team that will do the next 5-year plan.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But that's a time to stop and look at what have we done so far this year?
Uh-huh.
How's the organization going? Where are we heading?
Right.
What do we want to do in new and exciting and different kinds of programs?
Excellent, excellent.
And what do we need to do to have a sustainable structure?
Right.
You know, we're still sort of new in some ways, and yet we've done
We
so
haven't made it,
much
you know, all
already.
businesses, nonprofit or profit, 5 years. If you
Yep.
make it through 5 years, you're pretty good to go. But if you can't make it the 5 years,
Yeah.
And it looks like we'll be fine, but we're
Yeah.
definitely hitting that. I feel like we are at a developmental stage where we just have to do some of that work of creating the structure and really
Sure.
go back and look at our organizational chart and who reports to whom about what and all
Right.
of those pieces that are
Right.
all of the parts that are under the water level for the iceberg. You know,
Yeah.
the tip of the iceberg is up here and we're doing
Right.
all these programs
Right.
and
Right.
everything is great, and we now need to make sure that we're supporting everything.
sure, sure.
So the other main reason for doing development is because we grew much more than we expected to. But
Well,
that's
you were a little bit like Topsy. You grew and grew and grew, and it's kind of like, whoa.
I think we didn't realize how many amazing artists there were in the Sandwich area.
Well, that's what I want to ask. So why even have this organization with other organizations? There's one in Falmouth, there's one in Barnstable, there's one in well, there's several in Barnstable with Katuitt.
Right.
But why? I mean, why do you feel that's
Who
important?
do you think speaks for the artists in Sandwich?
I don't know.
There was no voice.
I mean, I think you do now, but I'm just
Yes,
saying.
but
you know.
I think when we started looking at Clark Haddad and Wing schools and things like that, and they were looking for input on things, we looked around and said, you know, there's no
Right.
arts group here. There's no voice of a group of artists.
Right.
And there
so
are good things happening in the
Yes.
arts in Sandwich, Glasstown Cultural District,
Right.
the town hall stage. There were a lot of things already going on in the arts.
Sure.
And yet there wasn't that chance to pull everybody together and have that network.
We looked at the visual artists were visual, literary, and performing.
Mm-hmm.
And the visual artists, if they want to hang their work somewhere, where do they go in
Right.
Sandwich? And so they would have to go to each individual place and say, hi, can I hang my work? Same thing with musicians. Can I play Saturday night at your place? So we thought, if
They're welcome at my place anytime.
if the artists are together, the idea is the artists work together and band together, can't they do more for each other
Oh,
together
sure,
than
that
if
makes
they're doing
sense.
it alone?
Right, right.
So that was the original idea, was to be an artist grassroots group and help each other. But then it grew into, but what are we doing for community? How are we helping community? What about classes for youth, for seniors, for all the artists, for friends of the arts who aren't artists but would like to be? When the community school kind of went away, there was nothing in Sandwich in adult ed. And so we do some literary, some theater, a lot of visual arts. We've started doing a bit of blues and music related. So that's another area that we're filling.
So your thought is that because there are so many artists in Sandwich, that it's good to band them together
Right.
to bring art to the public.
Right.
Basically.
And in
right?
addition to all the artists in Sandwich, there are also a lot of people who just really enjoy art.
Right.
So they might not identify as, oh, I'm not an artist, but
Right.
there's so much enthusiasm. Well, although
Oh, you're an artist in your own
she
right.
is, and I'm remembering one of the few times that we tried to get together and paint together. We ended up talking the whole time, but there is such enthusiasm in the town for the arts, generally speaking, and
Yeah.
that has also, I think, helped to propel the organization forward.
Right. But why this is kind of a critical year and a change of direction is because it grew, and we're maxing out our volunteer staff. So that's why we wanted to be able to support morphing into paid staff.
Makes sense.
Because you can't, you burn everybody out.
Right.
Well, you know this from.
I know this from myself.
Yes.
That's what I know it from.
Yes, and from all the theater you've done in Sandwich and all the good programs you've done, you get to a point where you say, okay, so we're doing another 25 programs this year, which is what we do.
Yeah,
and,
it's a lot.
It is.
And I will tell you right now, there are, they shall remain nameless, obviously, but there are a couple of groups here on the Cape that are seriously struggling with the whole idea of volunteerism.
Yes.
From paying people to come in to do things for them,
Yes.
and they don't want to, and yet how do you, I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age, when I first moved to Sandwich in 1980, it's a long time, right? Long time ago, and there was a group called Glassdown Players, all volunteer.
Right.
And we would do 3-4 shows a year, and there would be at least one big musical, so you'd involve kids and community members and all of that. And everybody was volunteer, including, John Thomas. I played Madame Dubonnet in The Boyfriend, and John Thomas, who's since passed away, he was sitting on the outside of the Grange Hall, because that was our building way back when, which was like Judy Garland had sprung from Sandwich and said, "Hey kids, let's put on a show." It was so perfect. And I looked at him, and we just moved here, and I said, "So what?" And I was cast, and it was at rehearsal, and I looked at him, I said, "So what do you do for a living, sir?" And he goes, "Well, I'm your local Episcopal priest. Do you have a church yet?" So that's how the arts can actually grow the economy, I think, because I started going to St. John's Church. However, that said, everybody was volunteer. And then as the years progressed, by the mid-1980s, those young people were off to college, new people were coming in, kids in high school were doing more shows at the high school because it was getting better.
Right.
And it was growing. And people just melded away. And I think that's because of how our society has gone. Everybody works.
Yes.
I mean, how many women do you know stay at home? I certainly, young or old, I don't know many, even at this age, that do.
Look at our board and all the people that work all day, so we plan the meetings around work schedule.
Right.
And they're either at the crack of dawn or the end of the day.
Right. So I think that's significant for all groups,
Yes.
especially nonprofit groups like arts groups, because for some reason in this, and I always think this is my speech. I've been fortunate to travel a little, but in other countries, they take the arts seriously. It's as if it's like breathing. It's like healthcare. Everybody knows you need it.
It's not just a luxury.
It's not a luxury. It's not for people with a lot of money. It's for public art. It's for everybody. It's art in the street. It's everywhere. And for some reason, in New England, I think it's getting better, but the rest of the country, I don't think so much.
And I do think one thing that's nice about Sandwich as the location for this organization, we do have a lot of recent retirees who've moved here.
Sure.
Specifically to start their retirement. They're looking for something to do. And we've had a number of people jump in and get involved in that. We just had a new member welcome at Joanne's house a couple weeks ago. And one person there who I intend to follow up with soon, but just recently retired, loves the arts, very excited to take an art class. He and his wife had downsized to move here, as many of us do. And so he started looking around at the walls of his more modest home and realized he didn't have enough wall space for all the work that he was starting to produce. So he built himself a shed. And so now at the end of the driveway, he's got a he shed for his art.
I love it.
But I think that's really a strength for the organization because we do have a number of people who are really looking for ways to be involved.
Right.
And one of our tasks now as leaders of the organization is to help match those people with the openings that we have in the organization of things to do.
And I think as you get larger too, I worry about, do you lose the personal touch? Because the first year, it's so much excitement and everybody's saying, oh, I'm going to join and everything. Then, kind of after 3 years, the honeymoon's over and you stop to think, am I still helping you with the reason that you came and
Sure,
joined us.
sure.
And so with some things it's more obvious than others. If you're a musician, are we giving you enough chances
Right.
to play with the Third Thursday and Sandwich Fest,
Right.
Porch Fest? If you're a visual artist and you want to hang your work, but there are a lot of people that don't fall into the obvious categories. And
So let's say I'm out there and I'm
You are
watching
out there.
I am
Oh, be nice, Joanne.
So I'm out there,
In a
and
good
there
way.
is there's, and you know, I either want to join, right? I want to become a member. Can I go online and do that?
Sure.
Can I go online and I say, you know, I want to give some money this year to something, a nice nonprofit that helps kids and adults.
ooh.
Right. So how do I do that?
on our website, sandwichartsalliance.org, right on the beginning of the home page, up at the top, it says join, renew, donate.
I see.
And we have the annual appeals. So,
Okay.
so it just walks you through.
And
all of
heck,
that.
if you ever shop on Amazon,
Oh.
you could be supporting the Sandwich Arts Alliance when you
Oh,
do.
really?
The
so that's
Smile
one of
program.
Those,
Amazon
yes.
Smile.
Includes Sandwich Arts Alliance.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. That was really smart. Now, who thought of that?
Our membership chairman is Richard Musini.
Uh-huh.
And he said, why not?
Well, what do you have to lose?
Exactly.
You know,
right.
even if it's $100 a year, it's something.
Okay, we just got notified, they do it every so many months.
Yeah.
We're up to $11.54.
Hot
We
dog.
just started it, so it's free money.
It's free money. Didn't have to work for it. Didn't have to send out a stamp for it. Nothing. It was
Right.
it was all just there. That's great.
But-
So okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that a huge part of our growth is because of the wonderful grants that we've been given and the
Sure.
groups that have supported us and the groups we've collaborated with. Kiwanis is amazing
Oh,
in this
I love
town, Sandwich
Kiwanis.
Kiwanis. And they've helped us with our kids' classes
Yeah.
and kids' events and free student tickets for the concerts and
Right.
stuff. And the Visitor Services Board is another one that we've teamed with a lot.
Yeah, that's
and they
great.
help so many groups in
Yeah,
Sandwich.
they do. They do.
But they're helping us right now with the Adirondack Chair Trail.
Yeah. Now I read about it in the paper. So somebody explain it to me. I don't get it. Only because I'm slow on the uptake.
But we did the Starfish Trail 2 years ago.
Right. And those were all the starfishes that.
We had 20
Artists?
of them. Well, we manufacture, we have 20 manufactured. 20 different businesses will say, oh, I'll sponsor one for Sandwich
And the cost to
Community
do that
TV.
is.
For the Starfish, it was $250. For the Adirondack Chair, it's $350.
Uh-huh.
And that includes the manufacture of the chair and getting it all primed and ready and supplies for the artists. So we got, just before Thanksgiving, we got our 20 businesses that said,
Wonderful.
I
Yeah, there
wanna
was
do
no
this.
problem finding people
Right.
to line up to do
Right.
it. That was great.
22 we have this year, actually.
And artists, where did
Okay.
the artists come from?
So we had the chairs delivered. We had in flat boxes. We had an assembly party, which was a challenge. And then
I can imagine. It's like
one of
IKEA.
our-
They weren't IKEA chairs,
No,
were they?
they're a beautiful cedar chair that actually will fold for the winter.
How cool is
Because
that?
are you going to buy one at auction if it takes up your whole
Oh, living,
shed?
yeah, well, your whole living room, if
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
bring it
yeah.
in.
So we have one of our artists who gets together 20 artists, 22 artists who want to paint something, and it's done in secret. So after they were assembled, all the artists came and picked them up, and they take them back, and from now to May 1st, they don't talk to each other, they don't share, they just
There's
paint.
no theme involved.
No, creative.
Yeah.
That's it. And we gave them ideas. If you go on Pinterest and say
Yeah.
painted Adirondack chairs, you'll see some cool stuff. You could
Yeah.
have a New England Patriots chair.
Right.
You could have one that looks
You
like
could have Paris.
yes.
Or things sticking off of them. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw the starfish
Yeah,
trail, but
yeah,
people
that
were
was
incredibly
unbelievable.
creative
Yeah.
with
I
that.
saw one that was a lobster, so it had antennas coming up,
Yeah.
and then your drinks go in.
Right. Oh, I like that. I like that for
Yeah.
the drinks anyway.
So then, come May 1st, they'll bring them all back in. We'll cover them. The artists
Yeah.
still will not have seen each other's. The businesses do not know what they're getting. So the week before, we secretly match up the businesses and the chairs.
And then are they auctioned off or?
Not yet.
Oh,
no.
okay.
The whole idea is have them out.
Oh, I say in the community.
Yes. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they're out at the different businesses, because what we're trying to do is drive business to the businesses
I
as a thank
see.
you for sponsoring.
Sure. Chamber of Commerce should
We've
be
been
behind
playing
this.
really nicely with the
Oh, they
Chamber of
help.
Commerce.
I was
Terry
going to
Stanley is
say,
amazing.
yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, because this is what she's looking for all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
How do I get somebody to go to a
Right.
business?
So there'll be maps, and the kids are very good at leading the parents to
Oh,
all the
sure.
different places.
Yeah.
And then we're planning to have a trolley trail day
Oh,
in the
wonderful.
summertime, where we have the trolley and we go to the different locations. So we try to focus not just on the village, but South Sandwich, East Sandwich.
Sure.
And we'll have musicians, and so you get a map, and it tells you where they're all located and the names
Wonderful.
of them.
Nice.
Then we're having all kinds of contests for the kids during the summer, coloring contests at the library, and Instagram, win some ice cream if you take a picture with the chairs.
Yeah, yeah,
different locations.
yeah. Nice.
And then we'll pull them all back in Labor Day, and Fisherman's View has been very gracious
I know
about
they
offering
they
us-
also have a lot of work on their walls.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
Some of which is flying off their walls.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, so we'll pull them back in, and we'll have a big auction with music and food and,
Yeah.
and a fun event over there.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful.
So it's a fundraiser for us, but we're
Right.
trying to make it be good for the businesses,
Right.
fun for the kids, fun for the community.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
And so that's just one of the many events. You do the classes, correct? You do lots of classes. You do all kinds of. You do
Concerts.
performances. You do concerts. You do performances. I know you did the plays recently.
Right.
And I like the fact you're using all these different buildings that quite frankly I tried to use a long time ago and they wouldn't let you in. But somehow
Yes.
you have gotten an in into the Masonic Hall. Bless you, because it's a great
wonderful
space.
place.
It
It's like a
is.
theater.
It is like a theater.
Yeah.
If they'd only let you put in a stage, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
But those stage readings worked really
Oh,
well.
they're wonderful. They
Yeah,
were. I didn't
that
get to
was
see
really
the last
fun.
ones, but I heard how wonderful they were, and
And as part
everybody
of Art
enjoyed
Week
them.
in May, we're actually doing our first full production for the Sandwich Arts Alliance. Which
Yeah,
is,
rumors, right? By-
Yes,
so much
Neil
fun.
Yeah,
Simon.
Neil Simon. Are you going to be in that one, Kathy?
I don't know. I'll have to see.
Well, I know that I met with June
Bowser
Bowser.
Barrett.
Sorry. Oh God, June, I'm so sorry. I forgot your last name. I met with June and with Karen Santos about doing Coffee House Theater. I'm doing one play reading in.
Wonderful.
It's going to be in October, and it's
Diane
a break.
Scharf, too,
And
from-
Diane. I'm so
Yes.
sorry, Diane. Diane Scharf was there as well. And I'm going to do. It's just a reading
Right.
of a brand new play about Pat Carroll, the comedian,
Yes.
and her correspondence with a woman in England who was a good friend by email. It is kind of like a love letters of women. I mean, they were in love, but not that kind of love.
Right,
not
friend crush.
Yeah, they were friend love. And oh my God, is it adorable? It's funny. It's got all those good things. So we're going to do it at Sandhill.
Right.
And I said to him, I said, wait a minute, they got that room with the round tables. How perfect would it be if we had some coffee? I said, I'll just bring the coffee
Nice.
and
Like
little
a
treats.
bistro.
Yeah,
coffee
and then we'll do the
bistro.
reading and we'll be
Yeah.
done. So,
And that's one of the things that we've talked about in the Arts Alliance is one of our taglines is we'd love to be the oldest town with the newest works and
Yeah.
really support
That's a
emerging
great-
artists.
yeah.
And we had a collaboration with some young theater folk from Hyannis, New
Yep.
Classics Company.
oh yeah, they're wonderful.
They're a relatively new theater company, but we worked with them on a project last summer. So
Oh, that's great.
That's always encouraging and
Yeah.
exciting when you see
Yeah.
those things happening.
Absolutely.
Because we decided we're not going to be another Katuitt. They've got wonderful things
you don't
that
wanna
they're
be.
doing. So we were looking
Yeah.
for our own identity, and
Right.
that's what we came up with. Let's do new things
Yeah, I think it's
And-
great.
and give people a chance that might have to wait a long time to get their works produced.
Well, I wanted to do this actually originally as just a reading on a Wednesday. You know,
Right.
they're one Wednesday a month they do readings. They could do it, and I can't do it until late 2020. And I went, I could be dead by then. So,
Well, that's good for us.
yeah, so
right?
I
Because here
thought,
we are.
well, maybe the Sandwich Arts Alliance will let me do it, and they were kind enough to say they would.
Like that, our member art show, for instance, in the
Mm-hmm.
spring, you don't have to have already participated in some sort of juried show.
Right.
People are welcome to participate at any level.
That's
And that
great.
has just been so encouraging for people who
Right.
might have been sort of bashful about sharing their art. But to be able to share that art with the world can mean so much to people and encourage
That's
them then to
wonderful.
go on further. So that's
we,
exciting.
We usually have like a classes section, so adults or kids
Right.
that have taken the classes get, and it's amazing because it's the first time anything of theirs was ever hung.
Sure, sure.
and-
It's a huge deal.
yeah,
It is a
yeah.
huge deal. I want to thank you guys for being here. And I want to also let everybody know if we go to sandwichartsalliance.org,
Right,
anything they ever wanted to know about you is there.
right.
Is that
and
correct?
they should also check out our Facebook page
Okie dokie.
and get onto our newsletter.
Excellent,
Then they
excellent.
won't miss a thing.
And you know what? I think Tinkerbell is here. I hear her somewhere in the background there.
And that could
Anyway.
be somebody who didn't shut their phone off.
Needless to say, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you. And let's have some fun with the Sandwich Arts Alliance. What do you
Okay,
think?
great. Thank
and
you
come
very much.
see us. Come see us and all the
Yes.
stuff.
Okay.
All righty. Kathy Odie and Joanne Westerhouse. Aren't they terrific? And they're running this great organization called the Sandwich Arts Alliance. And it's located right here in Sandwich, the oldest town with the newest works. I just love that tagline. So go online to sandwichartsalliance.org and find out all about them. And hey, become a member. Why not? So I want to thank you for today, and I'll see you next time on the next Cape Conversation.